I'm Michelle Miller from CBS Saturday Morning. Welcome to The Dish. Today we're exploring the variety of cuisines the Garden State has to offer. We meet a mother-daughter duo serving homemade Bangladeshi dishes in Jersey City, and the owner of a Livingston, New Jersey diner whose doors have been open for 40 years. But we begin with Chef Melba Wilson. She started her career on Wall Street, but soon realized cooking Southern food that comforts the soul was her passion.
Hi, how are you ladies doing? Heirloom is a community. We all know each other.
Chef Melba Wilson knows her town.
There's a lot of retail space, so of course we want to get them filled up.
Her neighbors.
This is one of my dearest friends here.
And her history here.
So, here we have Frederick Douglass, the monument, the statue, the man.
It's why she chose this very corner for her namesake.
I wanted this corner because that block was one of the most notorious drug blocks in Harlem. And I wanted to show kids in my community, I don't want you to do that. I want you to come here. You can get a job. You had an opportunity to make an honest living.
For nearly 20 years, she's devoted her whole heart to Melba's.
I'm born, bred, and buttered right here in this community.
A restaurant where New York City appetites meet her South Carolina roots.
Crispy on the outside. It gives us great pleasure here at Melba's to capture this moment and using food as a vehicle to bring people together.
She does it with the foods we've all grown familiar with. There's her mac and cheese.
Oh, look at that. You see that cheese string?
Ooh,
that's what we're looking for.
Right,
Candied yams, collards, and peas and rice.
you know, because I put hot sauce on everything.
All a fusion, ready to accept her special homemade hot sauce.
That's the way to eat
That's
it.
the way to eat it. It's got to have a little taste of something else on it, right?
You got some vinegar in there.
I like that vinegar.
Put some of this in here. Of course, that taste starts in the kitchen, where she showed me her special recipe for a signature favorite, Southern fried chicken and eggnog waffles.
Like shake and bake.
Girl, shaking and baking it, baby. Come on.
In this small kitchen,
You know, I'm gonna leave the kitchen and I'm gonna let you take over.
every year they churn out more than 700,000 orders.
And that's plenty.
Beautiful. It's the same waffle that I actually beat Bobby Flay with.
Fitting that our dish is dedicated to Emancipation Day.
Freedom Day, 1865, Abraham Lincoln. We finally have our freedom.
Because to Wilson, every bite is steeped in its culinary tradition.
Collard greens were extremely bitter, and it was the food that was considered garbage food. And we had to take this food, season it up so that we can go and work back on the plantations, picking cotton, etc. So it's interesting that it's now a delicacy, but as I like to call it, comfort food. It's food that not just comforts the soul, comforts the spirit and the mind.
Wilson's career began on Wall Street at an insurance adjustment agency, but while she earned a great living, she didn't even have a bank account.
I'd saved up money under my mattress for years, had no...
Literally under your mattress?
Girl, my family's from the South, okay? That's a habit that I inherited.
How much had you saved up?
You don't want to know.
Tell me.
It was $312,000.
In your mattress?
She may be down home, but she got her training all over the map, from the once renowned windows on the World downtown to a world-famous eatery on 126th Street.
My Aunt Sylvia asked me to come and help her up at Sylvia's one day.
As in Sylvia Woods, the Harlem queen of soul food.
Visited by kings, queens, but most importantly, loved by locals.
Yeah.
And she was a big inspiration to me.
She passed away.
I see that it still is very emotional for you.
Yeah. She gave me an opportunity and took me from a cashier to back of the house. She just taught me so much about the industry.
And Wilson has helped to oversee that industry in New York during the pandemic as president of the NYC Hospitality Alliance and the mayor's COVID-19 Small Business Advisory Council.
It taught me the importance of being able to sit down and converse with one another. You know, my grandmother always said to me, Melby, God gave you 2 ears so you can listen twice as much as you speak. And it taught me the importance of what my grandmother Mia said, listening.
She runs her own mini empire with book and TV deals, all while managing through the pandemic delays of her two new eateries, one in Newark later this year, the other at one of her old childhood haunts in Central Park, the Woolman Rink.
It is about the red velvet. You're tasting the hints of.
Whoa. What is that taste?
It's a little cocoa powder.
Chocolate.
Yes,
Oh
that's
my
what it is.
God. Well, I have to say, cheers.
Up next, a Jersey City restaurant where eating with your hands is recommended. Nuri Rahman, who goes by Amma, opened her Bangladeshi restaurant, Karai Kitchen, with her daughter in 2018. Customers walk in expecting Indian classics like chicken tikka masala, but that's not the food Karai Kitchen is serving up. Instead, authentic Bangladeshi creations are on the menu, home cooked using ingredients from Amma's grocery store just blocks away. Tony DeCopel sat down with the James Beard-nominated chef and her daughter.
Hey, how are you guys doing over here?
It would probably surprise happy diners like these to learn that all the food here at Karai Kitchen, these Bangladeshi staples like shrimp do piazza, pumpkin borda, and a yogurt-based drink called mango lassi, are prepared by a chef whose own family used to avoid her cooking.
Who taught you to cook?
No one. No one.
Yeah, Nuri Rahman, who goes by Amma, had a very rough start in the kitchen after marriage.
The first dish was horrible. Then I gave it to my husband. He said, "Oh my God, what did you make?"
Oh,
The whole thing
It's
to turn, right?
horrible. It's horrible.
But as the years went by, and after she and her late husband moved here to Jersey City, New Jersey, Amma's children began to realize something.
Anytime we had friends or family, anybody who would come over, if my mom fed them, they'd tell my mom, you should open a restaurant.
And so, in 2018, at the tender age of 61, with a little help from her daughter Nuri, that's exactly what Amma decided to do.
I had never even worked a day as a hostess or server. We have no restaurant connections, no industry connections, no restaurant experience, and no real capital, no investors.
I said, what I'm going to do? Sitting home and let's try.
The result was mixed, at least at first, as diners wandered in expecting just another Indian place.
So you have these bags and you have a logo and like a saying around here. What is it? Tell me what it is.
No chicken tikka masala.
And actually, I think when we open this restaurant, everybody comes inside. Oh, you don't have chicken tikka masala? You don't have chicken tikka masala? Then we have to explain them. This is the Bangladeshi restaurant.
It's just not what this place is about.
Right, exactly.
But Nuri and her mom soon realized a bigger issue. Popular Bangladeshi foods like these delicious aloo porta and fish curries have an identity crisis in the U.S.
We started doing delivery, and Uber Eats, there was no category for Bangladeshi. They tried to put
Really?
this under Indian food. No, we asked them to add a category for us. Yelp, there was no category for Bangladeshi. We asked them to add a category. So that's when it became something bigger than my mom's food. I mean, we realized that there really was such a lack of representation.
To help fill this blank spot on our culinary map, they've also opened a Bangladeshi grocery store a couple blocks away in the middle of Little India.
So this is like the pantry.
Yes.
A place where any curious home cook can pop in for essentials that Amma couldn't find in America 38 years ago, like this puffed rice.
I used to use Rice Krispie.
No longer needing to improvise, her ingredients go straight into the pots at Karai Kitchen. The result may be the most authentic, home-cooked Bangladeshi meal you can get without a plane ticket. And while utensils are available, guests are encouraged to eat like a member of the family.
To me, I think the most fun and enjoyable way to eat it is to eat with your hands.
This tastes like nothing I've ever had before. This is really good. Are you allowed to lick your fingers? No.
Yeah, we do that.
Because here, where the weekend meals are known as Dawat dinners, the goal? Much more than money.
Dawat means invitation in Bengali, but I always say that it's really a way of life. It's going to your family member's house and just eating and eating for hours and hours. And we thought, how fun would it be to do that?
Enjoy. Thank you for coming.
It's a feeling and a flavor in every bite.
It requires so much grit that she has been able to scale, and still to care about all the ingredients the way that she cares and care about all her guests. So I'm just very proud of her.
Oh, thank you.
What's it like hearing your daughter say all that about you?
It makes me so, I don't know, emotional.
Well, you can't cry.
You can cry.
I feel good. My guests, they love my food. Sometimes they start hugging me and crying. Oh, I feel like my grandma's food.
What does that mean to you?
Means everything. Everything. I feel like I'm successful here.
There are roughly 500 diners in New Jersey, but this Livingston landmark has been operating for 40 years. The Ritz Diner, owned by Marion Feldman, has an 8-page menu offering all the diner classics and one very special signature dish that I tried to cook myself. From Marion Feldman.
I got 2.
And her son David. The Ritz Diner means
everything that we can serve our town, the best way that we feel is possible.
You like working in the family business?
Sure.
You like working with your mama?
It's a challenge at times, but you caught me at a day that I said yes.
Thank you, honey.
The Livingston, New Jersey landmark has been a pillar of the community for nearly 40 years. Maybe it's the milkshakes that keep people coming back, or the black and white cookie, a diner classic. Or maybe it's one of the other hundreds of dishes on their 8-page long menu, which does have healthy options.
Food is amazing. They have cake, they have cookies, they have the famous apple pie.
It's a lot of the same people come here every day like we do.
If you want to pull up a seat with Ritz regular Tommy Pepe and his friends, it isn't too hard to find them.
The fourth seat goes to any walk-ins that want to sit with us, and there's always somebody that wants to sit with us.
How's everything?
The bones of the business have been here since 1964, when it was called the Heritage Diner. Marion and her then husband turned it into the Ritz in 1984. How did you get the business?
I got it through a divorce. Thank you very much. Here, honey, it's yours.
But they get along better now than they were
exactly.
married.
Marion's journey to the Ritz began in her native Hungary.
Soviet tank divisions rumbled into Hungary,
where she escaped an uprising in 1957. She learned English, became a U.S. citizen, and built a life for her family, including sons David, Bobby, and Todd.
2 orders.
David stepped up to be his mom's business partner this year, helping the Ritz manage its bustling weekend crowd.
I really needed someone strong in the kitchen, who runs the kitchen, and I really have all the faith in my son.
But together, the duo had to face the fact that weekday business was slowing as commuters stayed home following the pandemic.
Were you ever afraid that you might lose this place during COVID?
We probably could have. I was very worried about my employees, who have been with me for years and years and years.
One of those employees is Librado Alberto Pavia, who's worked in the kitchen for more than 2 decades. He and David,
here comes the secret,
gave me one shot to nail the house favorite German apple pancake.
Oh, it's ready. It's a blind taste test, don't look.
Unfortunately, the jury's still out on who's earning the title of top chef.
They were both very good. Everyone calls my mother Mom. They don't call her Marion, they call her Mom, Mommy,
Do they really?
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
But one thing's for sure. When you're working with family, a mother's love can often be 1 part sugar, another part spice.
I'm getting pinched under the table. All right.
After the break, fine dining in a Jersey beachside bungalow. This is The Dish. The St. Laurent Hotel is the oldest operating hotel in Asbury Park, New Jersey. It's home to Heirloom, a former culinary school turned supper club created by owner Neely Robinson. Dana Jacobson sat down with Robinson and her business partner turned life partner and executive chef of Heirloom, David Viana.
Asbury Park, New Jersey may be best known for places like the Stone Pony and its beachside boardwalk. But a few blocks from the water sits a new siren song, Heirloom at the St. Laurent, the restaurant for the hotel and social club.
This is actually the oldest operating hotel in Asbury Park. It was originated in 1886. It was a female-owned hotel.
Neely Robinson is Heirloom's owner and managing director.
Wow, the space is just amazing. So, original space that this bar is?
Yeah, so this is part of the original structure of the hotel. And the tin ceilings that you see around in this room here are the original ceilings from 1907.
They kept a lot of really cool details, the airiness, the spaciousness. They have wonderful design detail all throughout the space.
David Viana, her partner and executive chef.
This hotel is a really wonderful renovation, and it made a really wonderful canvas for us to paint our food on.
A sensory feast to both see and taste.
Walking in is a treat for the eyes, and then you take the first sip before you get anything to eat, and you already know, like, wow, this place is special.
And which one is this?
It's a pina colada milk punch. A beautiful, simple, clear cocktail with all the flavor of the traditional.
This, sitting out there by the pool, would be a very dangerous afternoon.
It's been a decade since Robinson's first culinary endeavor, starting Heirloom Kitchen with her mom as a recreational cooking school and retail shop. Viana, who'd learned under chefs like Michael White and Bobby Flay, helped her take it one step further when she asked him to help her turn the culinary school into a supper club on weekends.
It was a weird suggestion. I've never, I've never heard of anything like
Sometimes
that.
those are the best.
6 weeks later, we were open for service, and that was almost 8 years ago.
So it's worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
There's not a lot of things that make sense when you only have potatoes and bok choy.
A run on Bravo's Top Chef helped Viana build some recognition for the restaurant. But he and Robinson credit its success to something else.
Once people were in our space and saw how magical it was, and then took a class, they were hooked. And the cooking classes actually created a community around the restaurant. What you want to do is you want to cut off the top of an onion. It changed the way I cook. I became a much more hospitable chef. You know, when you're in the kitchen as a chef, a career chef, you don't see the people's smiles. You don't see the effect you're having on the community. It might be why I started cooking, but it wasn't why I was doing it at some point. I forgot. And seeing it and being a part of it was so special to me. It changed the way I cooked forever.
So you had to know when you were opening this space.
No walls.
No walls.
No,
Yes.
Exactly.
It was in that open space during their regular lunchtime service I was invited to taste some Heirloom at the St. Laurent favorites, starting with a hanger steak and potato side, uniquely described.
A potato pave, which is like French fry on crack. So it's super crunchy, but also like potato forward.
That's fantastic.
Each dish more flavorful than the next. A nettle cavatelli and lamb ragu with English peas, herb breadcrumbs, and a whipped ricotta with mint.
I like the texture of the breadcrumbs against the pasta and the lamb because it is so tender.
Exactly.
So good, I really couldn't stop.
In my head, I'm like, I need to save room, but I'm not saving room. I did that with the steak already. I can't save room.
Only to be topped by Viana's signature duck with a strawberry XO, an Asian-inspired sauce with dried scallops and shellfish.
I always cook it to medium because you get the perfect of everything. The skin gets perfectly rendered and crispy and salty. It's so juicy and tender all the way through.
This is fantastic.
Thank you. You know, there's nostalgia involved in food and creating memories and all those things, and there's an audience too. I'm from Jersey. I'm a Jersey boy through and through, and I cook food for Jersey people by a Jersey boy. What we do is a constant conversation back and forth of, do you like this? Oh, how about this?
Right.
And that's what being a chef is. It's not just me from my pontificating from my tower, like what everyone now eats, you know?
Yeah.
It's a conversation. It's a collaboration.
Which is exactly what a meal at Heirloom at the St. Laurent is, a collaboration. From what's served, like a chocolate hazelnut miso brownie with smoked vanilla ice cream.
Oh my God, that smoked. Why do more places not do that? That's delicious.
To who's serving and creating each harmonious delight.
So I've never understood the back of house, front of house divide. Everyone's contributing to one thing, the guest experience. We need them, they're our Sherpas. They guide the guests through the menu, they explain what we do, and we create a culture that supports each other.
They're the Sherpas, they're guiding our guests, but they are totally encouraged to make those connections with the guests and make it a memorable experience.
Do each of you walk away from here each day with something along those lines?
I really like walking in. I'm excited to walk in and see my friends and see the people that work here. And I think the secret ingredient too is loving what you do. We both love it. We both like eat, sleep, and drink it.
The right pairing for both of you.
Yeah. I mean, so much so we fell in love. We were not together when all this started at all, so.
That's amazing, right? To find the person that you want to spend your life with and your work life with.
I mean, it's funny though, because I feel like I went looking for him somehow and I didn't even realize it. I came knocking on his door, so.
He was looking for you and didn't realize it.
There we go.
As well.
There we go.
So true. So true.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news, stream us right here on CBS News 24/7. I'm Michelle Miller. We'll see you next time for another helping of The Dish.